Good morning and welcome to Ewetopia Farms. The sun's kind of bright right now and I decided to do this selfie mode, which I don't like. But today's a little bit of a different day because Arnie's gone to the sales barn and I'm here by myself working until he gets back, which I actually like because it gives me a chance to play around and look at the sheep more and do my own thing without anybody saying, hurry up, Lynn, you got stuff to do. Before we start the day, gotta look at the rams here, and of course, Scotty's here, laying in the sun while we have it, because it's been a rare thing. Hi, sweetheart. Is there a cat there? He's kind of silly, isn't he? Hi. Hi, buddy. Hi. How you doing? Good boy. Yeah, you're a good boy. Anyway, as you can see back that way, it's dark skies again, and we're gonna be getting rain. So we're gonna rush through chores, and I think today we're gonna have a little discussion about something that's going on with the lambs today. So follow along and we'll go inside and see what else is happening in here. Okay, before we get started, we're gonna feed Cat and Caboodle. And then we gotta head on to the main barn and feed the other bottle babies. Probably before I head over there, I'm gonna check in on the sheep in this barn. I don't know, he wasn't sure if he was gonna get everyone on the trailer this morning. It looks like he might have, but I'm not sure. I gotta go check back there. And hey, you used your bottle. Look, over here. There's one over here. There you go. There. Kit usually goes on the first one, and the other one got it. So instead of her going to the empty bottle feeder, she tried to fight over the first one, but they're settled now. We can leave these guys to it and head on into the barn and see what else is going on in here. So I totally don't know how everybody walks around with one of these selfie things. I've been trying it for like 2 minutes now, and boy, it's awkward. Definitely, I don't think I could get much work done doing this, but I feel like if you're going to get to know me, maybe you should see me a few times. So we're going to go in and see what's happened in here. There's a lot of screaming. We're in the I guess the old dairy barn. And this is usually a quieter barn, but as you can see, everyone's making a lot of noise, and that's because Arnie does the feeding of the grain and the hay in here, and obviously he's not here, so nobody's being fed, and we've got a little protest going on right now. But I see this is where he had the pen of lambs, so I guess he did get everyone on the truck loaded up. And these guys back here are very, very upset because I'm not dealing with them. But he'll be back in about an hour or two, so they can wait. No one's suffering here. So I guess I'm going to finish this barn up. I'm going to kick in the hay and clean the drinkers and do the salt and mineral. And then we'll rush on off to the coveralls and have a look at the lambs, because I do want to talk about lambs today. So we'll get this done as quickly as possible and move on to the main part of the video. Okay, that didn't take too long, but I don't know if you guys noticed while I was doing that, but in this pen right back here, these are the stragglers. We had to move them to put them out of the way for the rams that we're going to market. But as I was in here cleaning the drinkers, I noticed one ewe was constantly standing to the side, and if you look in this pen now, there's a lot of udders, and I'm pretty sure we might be having a lamb today or tomorrow. Now they're all gathered up, but you can see she's got a big udder there, and quite a few others do. But while I was doing chores here, one kept coming back by the wall, and I think it's this girl here. So I'm guessing she's going to be lambing shortly. I don't know if you guys remember, but right when we pulled all the rams out back in, gosh, can't even remember when it was, around December, we pulled the rams out, and we weren't sure about Felon's Group because there was still a lot left, so we put in Hero, one of our yearling rams that we had that was really nice. We thought, oh, we'll just put him in for a cleanup. And then he subsequently died 10 days later from totally unknown causes. We found him in here. You guys probably remember that. It wasn't a good day. But I'm guessing that all these ones now are going to be from Hero. So he's left a legacy. And even though he was only in here a short time, it looks like quite a few of them have caught. So we're happy about that. But yeah, more lambs on their way. Off to the coveralls now. First I have to make the milk for the lambs in the coveralls, so we'll get that made quick, and we'll head to the coveralls. Okay, easy peasy, right? We're off to the coveralls for the bottles. Get that done as quick as we can. As you can see, I'm not wearing a coat today because it's actually warm again. So it's nice to not have all that bulky stuff on. But like I said, the rain's coming back this afternoon, so we'll get this done as fast as possible so we don't get soaked. Okay, same problem in this barn as the other barns. Only hasn't fed anyone. So it's very loud. I hope you can hear me. I'll get these guys fed quickly, the bottles, and I'll only do this coverall so you can see what happens for daily chores. I won't repeat it, but you'll know that the next two coveralls are the same thing. I gotta admit, that's exhausting working that fast. Okay, next barn. Arnie just arrived, so we're filling up the creek feeder. So that's what it looks like. The feed guy made a mistake and he ground our soybeans, which he wasn't supposed to. They're supposed to be whole roasted soybeans. So there's a lot of ground in there, which isn't good. But we got barley and corn and cracked corn in there too. So I decided to let the boys go out for a little romp. I just locked the gate while our niece got the creep feed and tractor here. There's a few running around still over there, but I don't want anyone getting trapped or run over. And then I got two of the big guys who were having a hard time getting through the creep pen in the other coverall. Somebody mentioned that he saw that there was a ram that couldn't get through the creep pen. So I got the two biggest guys out and I put them in here. And already they're both screaming like they know that this isn't where they belong. But now they can run free with these rams, and there's no creep area where these rams are now, so they can eat without getting stuck. One of them's right there. He's a big boy for a young man. He could get through the creep area still, but it was quite the squish, and they can get injured doing that. So he's out. And 122. Oh, 122 is over there. And I put red dots on them so we can identify them, because it might look like they're the small ones in the group and Arnie might want to send them to market, but they're actually the big ones because they're group 2. But it's funny, the two new ones, you'd think with all these rams nobody would even notice. They all notice. They're all checking those rams out. So I brought you out here to show you something that I noticed the other day. Okay, here is Kevin. If Kevin will sit still. So, there's a little disease that goes around sheep. Mainly affects lambs, but it's called sore mouth. Some people call it ORF. It's a virus. It's extremely common. Very rare that you'll ever find a sheep farm or a goat farm that doesn't have it in their flock. And the reason for that is it is extremely contagious. It's kind of like chicken pox. So you get it. It runs rampant. Some people will have it just mildly, and other people will get it worse. But generally, chickenpox in humans, it generally is milder with children. Adults, it's much worse. I can attest to that because I got chickenpox when my kids got chickenpox as infants. I got them as an adult, and it wasn't nice. But it's similar to that. So generally, we do have sore mouth at our farm. It generally doesn't show up until usually about a week after weaning, I find. And then you'll have a few lambs will pop up with it. And I mean, in the hundreds of sheep we have, it's rare to find it. But I am going to find you some examples so I can show you. But I remember the very first time that our sheep came down with that. It was 22 years ago when I first started into sheep. And I had a flock of Shetlands, and I bought in a new one, put it in quarantine for 2 weeks, and all was good and fine, no problems, and I let it out with the group. And about a week later, every single sheep on my property had sore mouth. And so sore mouth, they call it that because it generally affects their mouth areas. So if these guys had sore mouth here, which none of them are showing that they do, it would usually present on their nose, at the corners of their mouths, on their lips. It's usually the soft bare skin that could be getting scraped, so with their mouths they're eating more, they could get more scrapes there. It's softer tissue. Oh, that guy's got it. See that at the corner of his mouth? And that's actually a worse than normal amount of sore mouth that he's got. Apparently they can get it around their feet too. I've never ever seen it there. I've heard that maybe pasture sheep get it more around their feet because they're walking and their feet are getting scraped by little grasses and stuff like that. So anywhere where the virus can get in, open areas, soft areas, is where it's going to affect. So usually the woolly areas aren't going to get it because they're protected. And the problem with it is that if you get a lamb that has sore mouth and the mother has never had sore mouth, like I said, with adults, they can get it worse. So the lamb with the infected lips will nurse on the mother, and the udder is a bare, open area. So chances are very high that she's going to get an infection on her udder, which will make her sore, which will make her not want to nurse, which will cause mastitis in her, a secondary infection. And with the lamb, it could cause it to, not be getting enough food. So you gotta watch that. If you have a flock that for 22 years, all the moms have been exposed to it in the past, and I can say that I've never ever had a mother get sore mouth except for that very first year, and I'll tell you that story. But and usually I find that it's triggered by stress, and that's why it usually happens after weaning. So on this farm, I don't see any barns with any sign of sore mouth except the barn where we are doing the weaning. And like I say, about a month later, give the virus time to incubate and get going, and it triggers. And it forms those scabs, and usually within 2 to 4 weeks, the scabs drop off and the lamb's back to normal, and usually there's no effects from it whatsoever. There are rare cases where the lambs can get it really badly so that they are unable to nurse or eat properly. I've never seen or experienced that myself either. But once they've had it, they're basically immune, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. So when I first got it, I know for a fact my sheep didn't have it because, like I said, every ewe got it, adult ewe. And the only lucky thing about it was that I had purchased this other ewe in the summertime, and my ewes had already long since weaned any lambs. So they just all got it on their mouths, and then they were set. They had no ill effects from it whatsoever. But it could have been disastrous if they had all had lambs on them nursing, and then I can see that probably I would have had udder issues or anything else like that. So I was very, very angry at that time, because I thought, I had a clean flock, and now my flock's infected. Or if it always sounds like such a bad name, bad word. But through the years, now I feel real happy that I have it, because I don't have to worry about my ewes ever again. And yeah, I do find also that if it's in the flock, when it is stress time like this, the odd one will pop up, but it's not a plague either. It just seems to be one or two, and you don't even see it in anyone else. Another bad thing about it, though, is that it doesn't just stay with sheep. It can get on humans as well. So if I had cuts on my hands and I'm petting my sheep like I do all the time, because Kevin actually has it a little bit, I'll show it you on Kevin, but I just have to make sure not to pet him near his mouth. And when humans get it, again, 22 years, I've never had it myself, but I heard it's a nasty one. It really burns, and it sticks with humans. It seems a lot longer than it does with sheep. So if you do have it and you're handling sheep, you have to be careful. Wear gloves, wash, stuff like that. If your flock doesn't have it and you have a lamb that has it, you might want to try quarantining it. But I would highly recommend just getting it over with and letting all the sheep be immune, and they're good to go. See, none of these guys have it. Hey, buddies. Hi. What else can I say about it? Oh, there is apparently a vaccine. I don't know anyone who's ever used it, but I heard it's a live vaccine, and how you administer it is by scratching a little patch on some skin on your animal and rubbing the vaccine onto it or something like that. But I heard it doesn't give them the immunity that actually catching it does. It only lasts for 1 or 2 years. And that because it's live, then they also have it too for life. So I don't know, it seems like a weird one. I don't think it would be necessary. It doesn't look nice, but I don't see any problem with it. Now, bottle babies would be prone to maybe getting it too, because they are also under stress if it's in your flock. So at our place, none of our bottle babies got it, but we are doing it the hard way, the bottles and washing bottles. So everybody gets their own bottle and then it gets washed afterwards. But if you're on a milk machine and one gets it, they're all going to be sucking on that same nipple, so you can guarantee they're all going to get it, because it does, like, I can attest that when my sheep weren't immune to it, and that first ewe came in the property, and she was asymptomatic too. You'd never notice that she had it, but it had to have been from her. It flew. Like, I couldn't believe how quickly it went through everybody. And yeah. But then it seems like your herd gets strong, and I guess a group immunity forms, and like I said, it's the rare sheep that gets it. And I've never had a sheep die from it, never had the secondary infections, which are what the problem with sore mouth is. The sore mouth itself doesn't do much, but it can cause, other infections, swelling of the feet, so you might need antibiotics, or mastitis, antibiotics. But because it's a viruses you cannot cure with antibiotics. A virus has to run its course. Only bacteria can be cured with antibiotics. So it's not bacterial, you just have to wait it out and not panic, because it looks an awful lot worse than it is. So I have a group of ewe lambs. There's a couple of the Suffolk ewe lambs have it. They're not going to be sold until they're totally cleared up, because I don't want to send it on to other people's farms. Once the scabs have come off, then they're good to go. They're not contagious anymore. But I can mention about the scabs. When the scabs drop off, they're dropping off in the bedding or whatever, and the virus is in the scab droppings, and that's how it stays on your property. You can't get rid of it. But it usually only does appear at our place. I only see it at lambing time, at weaning time. I don't see it any other times. And occasionally, if you bring sheep in and they've had a long journey if they're coming to a new farm, they're stressed out. If if it's gonna rear its head, it will oftentimes I find show up on a sheep you bring in because it's stressed, and that's another reason for quarantining new animals when they come on the property. And here's Kevin. So I'll show you. Kev, do you have a little bit of sore mouth? Not on this side, but right there. Come on, can you hold still, honey? Right there in the corner, just tiny, tiny, tiny. Kevin, you couldn't hold a little bit more still than that. I don't know if you saw it. It was like the size of a tick. I thought it was a good time to discuss it when you see it, because I figured if I didn't discuss it, someone on YouTube was gonna say, what? Why is your sheep's mouth bleeding? Or why do they have a scab on their mouth or something like that? So I figured discuss it while it's there. I seriously have never met anyone who doesn't have some sore mouth on their farm. But don't be afraid of it. I know it, you don't want to have anything like that, but it's kind of like with chicken pox. Get it over when you're a kid, because boy, you don't want it as an adult. Oh, nasty stuff. And this is what sheep do. This is number 2. He just had to get wrapped in the strings. Back up, buddy. Back up. Just back up. Back up. Come on, back up. There you go. There. Here's a nice little lad with the sore mouth. It's laying down now so we can maybe get a little closer look at it. So as the light glows over the coveralls, we're gonna say goodnight and hope you'll join us again tomorrow for the next episode at Ewetopia Farms. Bye for now.